Now this is a little town of Folsom. It had been settled by a colored cowboy. Come out there and he had settled that little town. They named it after him. His name was Folsom. And they made that building, you know, about the only building left in town except for an old ruined hotel. They did it into a museum. An old lady was a caretaker, and she was raised in a ranch right outside of town there. She had some nice stories to tell. There's the old hotel, what was left of it. One time was a Folsom Hotel. And that's Zerker in the front. In the distance, that's it's called Mount Capulon. That was a big old, it was a volcano. It last exploded back in several hundred years ago. This park is up in the crater of the volcano. And there's a view from the top of the rim of the volcano. Those are what they call baby volcanoes way out in there. There's our troops sitting in the rim. It's actually down in the crater. There's a path going down there. That was where the lava came from when it exploded out of there. They are on the rim. Dee Dee the dog in the shade again. She kept running and hiding in the shade. Just more scenery shots from the rim of the volcano. Janice May and Tony coming down the path, and look at Dee Dee sitting over in the shade on the right there. Now we're coming into Colorado now. Going on down the road. This is in Mesa Verde Park there, where they get all the cliff dwellings. This is down in one of them. They're sitting in front of what they call the kiva. It's an underground chamber there where they figure they held religious services and things. This is the campsite in Colorado there, just this side of Mesa Verde. That other side was out of sequence a little bit. We hadn't got to Mesa Verde yet. This is our campsite. It's getting inside of the Rockies. Here it's picked up a little snake there. This is back out in New Mexico. At that campground we were at when we were on that hike. We're going on a hike here. We got way back on a trail there, and we're going to hike up into the mountains here. This is over in Colorado, heading towards Mesa Verde. This is just going back to the back roads here. That's some of the scenery back in the area there. Back in Janice May. Scenery shot there, looking out into the mountains. Another scenery shot. This is all down in southern Colorado. Big little hike up the mountains here. That was roughly our destination. Getting back up in the mountains now. And here we are off up the valley. And Dee Dee looking for the shade again. There they are. And we're going up the valley. And there's a scenery shot. And that was a road in and road out. There's an old ruin of a log cabin. We were sort of heading north this time because it got too hot down south, and we were heading north. Yeah, we were going to go north and then go south, but we headed north, and I think we hit some snow up in there in the mountains. Here's the campground we stayed in. This little town. What the name was, but it was up in south central Colorado, way back in the mountains. And the campground hadn't even been opened yet. We were the only ones in there. I think we slept in the van that night because there had been grizzlies out in that area, they said. It was our little old campground the night before. Noticed the snow hanging around in the trees there. As we got right here, and we were going to head north on up into like Denver, but we got up there and one of the roads is still closed. We had to take one out to the east to get out of there. Stunner Pass, 10,541 feet. See the snow hanging around in the trees back there? Going snowballs, and Dee had a sweater on. It's so cold. More snowballs. Just down in the valley there. A little town way down the valley there off an old dirt road here. And this is all gravel dirt road. We didn't have any zerk. Little scenery shot. There's a big old beaver dam and ruins of an old cabin down in the valley there. That's just some old ruins we happen to wander across. Road went right along the old river there. I think they had a lunch stop here. Wasn't no McDonald's out in there though. There we ran across an honest to goodness cattle roundup. They were moving a big old herd of cattle or horses up this valley. And they had a big old herd of cattle, moving them up. And there's no water tower. They used to have those along the road out there when they had steam engines. You have one of those every so often. That one's still there and still standing. Getting up this road, there's supposed to be an old cemetery up there somewhere. We were driving up to see it. This is just down from the Dunes National Park, I believe. More scenery, the old Rocky Mountains in the background there. Here we are at Dunes National Park. That's a big sand dune. Wind comes up from the south and it comes up this valley and hits these mountains and drops the sand there and builds up this big humongous sand dune. And the winds blow real hard all the time, and that water is the snow melt off and now the mountains, and it was ice cold, but that sand was like a sand blaster hitting you. There's what they look like from distance. There's Eric in the foreground there. Eric sitting up camp out near the dunes there somewhere.